Right, I've got Tony Jenkins with me here, if I got his name right. So this looks like an interesting and skillful work in progress. Now, if I'm not mistaken, this is a picture of two trams in the Sheffield city centre moving in front of the Star and Telegraph building. So can you let us know what stage the picture is at and what you're doing next, or what you've done already?
This is just a little sketch that I started to do a while ago, and I wanted to rough something out to see what colours I might use to do a picture of this particular building at this particular time, which is in the 1950s, because the trams stopped running in October 1960. The layout was simply to do something that would make a nice picture, and it wasn't intended to be taken very far, because I just roughed a few lines out, but it actually is starting to turn out into something quite interesting. I started by just doing a very quick drawing using thicker lines, and then as it went along I decided that it was worth pursuing it to do a bit more detail and to put in some colour. Originally I was just going to put in a bright yellow for the windows and do the rest of it dark and do a nighttime scene, but in fact, as I did the detail of the building and added the colours of the sky, I decided that it would be better as a daylight building and just go ahead and do the detail, do it as a sketch, not work to any particular plan, but simply put the colours on and see how things worked out. And so far it's looking quite good. It's a pity I really didn't use some better paper, but never mind. We've got something going here that will turn into a decent picture. I started off with the tram, as I said, and then started to add colour, a bit of colour in the sky and a bit of colour in the buildings. And the Star building, which is directly behind the two trams, is an iconic building in Sheffield. It was the Star and Telegraph newspaper offices. They still work from there, but the rest of the building is now let off as offices and so forth. I wanted to make it look as effective as possible and have a nice composition with nice colours. The general layout is simply head-on view of the buildings and then working downwards from the sky, which is very often the way to do, to get a decent look of it and to get the look of the thing being realistic. In Sheffield at this time there was a lot of air pollution, and the sky, generally speaking, as you moved down towards the horizon, the pollution showed up, and in many cases it was orange, or whatever colour it was darker than the sky above. And I've reflected that by putting a darker colour behind the building, and the building on the left was the old National Westminster Bank, and it dates back to the late 19th century. The bit that it shows, that the camera's on at the moment, is beautifully stone carved, and the building between the two is York Street, where the Star building offices are now. And so as I made the sky stronger, I was able to make the other colours stronger. I'm now working forward to see what colours I should do and what particular composition I should use. At the moment it's turning into a triangular composition. If you look at the car on the left, which could be any of the cars of that period, they all tend to look fairly similar.
So you designed a general design for the motor?
That's right. It's not based on any particular car, but it's a very similar layout to most of them at that time. Although newer cars were coming along, there were many of these cars about, and after the war that's mostly what you could see, because at the time people didn't have the money to spend on new cars. But starting on the left and going up at a diagonal 45 degrees to the right, it leads you across to the people standing in front of the tram, to the sign above on the pole, and up towards the tower of the Star building. And there's a clock in the tower, which I've only just indicated at the moment by a pencil circle. And the same line can be taken down to the right and to the bottom right, where there'll be another group of people to catch your eye. So you'll have, and then along the bottom back to the car, so you'll actually have a triangular composition, and the rest of it hangs off that basic design.
Right, we're just about out of time now, so have you decided what time you're going to put on the clock? Quickly.
Not decided.
Alright, and thanks very much, Tony.
Thank you.